Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert with the Ted Show. Happy Friday, TGIF. Trust me, what a week it has been. But I'm super excited to end my week with my friend, are you ready? Nydia Marrero.
Hello, everyone.
She's a little bit nervous, so send her lots of love. I don't know why she's nervous because she's a natural on camera. Super excited. We've been trying to get her on the show for a long time. And we're going to talk about Zen and what that means and what it means to you. And it's a big buzzword right now, so people talk about Zen all the time. Are you Zen, Ted? Well, I feel like I'm Zen most days. So Nydia and I have been friends for quite a long time. She's a realtor extraordinaire, broker. She's just amazing. So welcome to the show, Nydia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So they love origin story, right? And since you haven't been on the show ever before, give them a little background on you.
Thank
Please.
you. Okay, so I am 100% made in Puerto Rico.
You did the accent too. I can't do it.
Puerto
Rico.
Yes, Puerto Rico. And by the way, we want to acknowledge all the people that got harmed by the earthquakes in Puerto Rico. So just take a moment for that. But I'm very excited to be here. So I moved here in 2003. Straight from the island.
Straight from the island?
Yeah,
I love it.
100% made in Puerto Rico. And then when I finished my bachelor's degree in the University of Puerto Rico, and I decided it was time for a new challenge.
What'd you get your degree in?
Business administration with a major in finance.
Oh, God, mine was finance too.
And a minor in marketing. So.
Are you good at numbers?
I love numbers.
Oh, yeah, see, I don't, so I don't know what I was thinking.
I'm all about the numbers. In fact, I wanted to be a CPA, and then I went to started doing my more advanced classes, and I realized, well, no offense to the accountants, but I'm like, I am too much energy to be behind a desk.
That's a great way to frame it.
I always had this entrepreneur mindset, so I thought that finances would be a better match, and so real estate fall under finances, and at the time I never thought I would do real estate.
Why did you plan to be a CPA, but how did the real estate, I remember my finance course, there was at least one real estate course I took as part of it, and I also was not interested in that at all, because I thought it was boring. The class was boring, let's put it that way.
Okay, maybe, and it had to do a lot with the instructor sometimes.
Agreed.
I realized that. But no, finance to me was it was a challenge. I loved having that conversation about the numbers, how to analyze, and I think there was room for creativity, so to speak, more than in accounting. So that's why I really liked the finance. Real estate was an elective, and everyone, for some reason, seems to love real estate. They may not understand it, but everyone's always very passionate about real estate. So I thought, why not take this elective that falls under the classes that qualify for the degree. So then I took the class, but at the time, and it wasn't until probably 5 years later after that I realized, oh yeah, this is where I want to be.
What'd you do in between? So if you didn't jump into real estate right away, what were you doing with your degree once you graduated?
So when I moved to Florida, to Orlando, I went straight from the island to Orlando. I actually started my master's at UCF in hospitality management.
Why that? What did you want to do?
But I thought I wanted to manage hotels. It was like, okay, well, maybe it's for a change, and the tourism industry, and at the time they were opening up the UCF.
And you're bilingual, that's a big plus.
I'm bilingual, and then, it is. So, but I didn't like it. I don't want to use the word hate, because I don't like that word, but very close to hating that. And I realized this is not for me, and I felt, you felt like, oh, you fail, and, how come I'm not going to complete the degree? And then you start identifying with all these titles, and so that's when, and at the time, just to answer your question, when I moved from Orlando, I actually started working as a telemarketer, which is the worst job anybody can have.
That is the hardest job. I've done that before.
But it was my greatest school for sales.
What did it teach you? Well, rejection, first of all.
Rejection to on steroids.
If you've never done telemarketing or worked in a call center, you're missing out. You should do it at least for one weekend, and then thank God that you don't have to do it all the time.
Correct.
I'm amazed at the people that are in that industry that stay in it.
It's very tough and it's challenging. Not everybody is meant for it. And I did it out of necessity because it was the first. They hired me in a heartbeat, and I'm like, why would they hire me? And then I understood nobody wants that position. That's
warm
why.
body. You're a warm body.
But I was so grateful that I found a job. I was like, this is my first job right after college. so I'm just gonna make it work. And I think there's something about this accent that I have that I kept people on the phone
Sure.
longer, and so you would have to read a script, and you would have to close those sales on a one-time call, those high-pressure type of
Is
sales.
that why you're a script girl? Is
I'm not
this
a
all
script
making
girl.
sense to me now? This is why you like.
This
You
is an
like.
inside joke.
Well, because like everybody who comes on the show, what's the script, Ted? What's going on? You're not alone in that question. Trust me.
Okay.
So, Nydia is definitely about. She wants to know it because she wants to. I get it. You want to communicate it well. And I'll tell you, you're absolutely right. Telemarketing will teach you
Yeah.
how to say what you need to say in a very short amount of time and be as impactful as possible. So that's a good insight I didn't know. See?
So I always been a connector naturally, where I thought, and we talked about this before, where I thought it was a curse, because people would tell me the story of their lives in like 5 minutes after we met, and I'm like, why they're telling me that they got divorced and the husband cheated on them? Why am I needing to hear this? But now I see it as a blessing after many years of.
It is a blessing.
It is.
Somebody had popped on. Tony Vera popped on. And
Hi,
said,
Tony. How are you?
And Dan Wallace, a whole bunch of people. Jennifer Pereira.
Oh wow.
Everybody's popping on saying hi.
Hi everyone. I'm very, very excited.
I agree. Like sometimes I think we're whatever we want to label ourselves, empath. Somebody, it's like a moth to a flame, right? So if you have that feeling, people connect with you immediately. They want to share with you. So
Yes.
it can be, if you don't know how to boundary it and make sure, it can be a difficult thing to try to balance all of that.
Correct.
So I understand, but that does make you, which you are, a natural connector. So what did you do in real estate? Talk about your real estate
So
career.
then after I did the telemarketing, one of my coworkers ended up getting an offer for a mortgage company actually, and he recruited me immediately. He's like, "You'll be perfect for this job, and the pay and everything, the benefits." And at the time, I already decided that I was not going to pursue my master's in hospitality management because it was like for me, money financially, I couldn't afford to earn a degree that I was not passionate about.
Sure.
And I'm sure many people can relate to this. It is expensive to get an education here. So I did that, and I went to work for this mortgage company. The supervisor at the time was my ex-coworker, and then that's how I started actually getting into the real estate arena as a loan officer, actually. And
I forgot about that.
yes, so it was back in the days, 2004.
Oh, it was good then.
It was great. Orlando was being developed like crazy. The real estate
You had
market.
a pulse, you could get a loan.
I learned a lot.
Maybe not a pulse.
And at the time, I learned a lot of what not to do, which, again, that's how you learn.
Right.
And so I actually decided that that wasn't for me either. I was doing great. My numbers were great. I was earning a lot of commissions. I was 24 and single. So I was like living the life in Orlando, but I wasn't happy because you would work from 9 to 9 and weekends. That was the expectation. So I decided to move to Miami with my sister, who at the time had got a job in Miami, and we purchased a condo in Miami, and we lived together. My father actually helped us, and at the time I said, what do I do now? I'm 24. And because I was already in the industry, I said, why not going for my real estate license? And I did, and that's how I got started.
That's
in
a
real
great
estate.
market down there. I
Yes.
don't know what it was after the crash, because I assume that was. But the market itself down there, it seems to be mostly healthy, good. And
It was actually in their glory at the time. Everything was like development. Downtown Orlando was being developed. I mean downtown Miami. And yeah, there were a lot of opportunities, and I got involved. But the problem was that most of those opportunities, when 2008 came along, everything crashed.
It was terrible.
And it's almost like I had a career made of, my customers that purchased when the market was overpriced, and then boom.
Well, they were also suffering. What people forget is when you're in the real estate world of mortgages, it's not just you, it's not just the clients that are coming in, all the people that you sold homes to when the market tanked and they were probably in over their heads or owned way too many properties than they should have, they all began to lose homes and properties and go through bankruptcy and foreclosure. It was insane back then.
Definitely.
All right, so you're in Miami. What brought you to Orlando?
So I got married.
You got
To
married.
my husband, of course. And then he always lived in Orlando. We met the first time I moved here, and suddenly he had family in Miami, and he would go every weekend, and we just kept in touch. And then he's a federal employee, so he couldn't just quit the job or relocate as easily as I could because
Sure.
I was I
In
was
real
working
estate.
for myself. Yeah, I was a self-employed. So I actually decided to move back to Orlando and make it work in real estate. But to me, that was like a new, completely arena because although I was, in the mortgage industry, now I'm back as a realtor
Right.
and not knowing anybody in real estate.
What's that
And
like? Let me ask you because I get asked that question a lot. Tony says your condo was beautiful, by the
oh,
way.
thank you.
I get asked this a lot, especially for newer real estate people, but it can be applied to business owners that are new.
Yes.
How did
And what I started doing, I started reaching out to everyone I know. My husband had a bigger sphere than I have because he has been here since he was 15.
true you capitalize on anybody's sphere you can
Yeah.
get in on? That's good.
And but the best thing I could do was, I mean, I got obsessed with education. Like I got because when I moved here and I started doing real estate, it was 2008. And people would ask me, "What do you do?" And I would say real estate, and they'll look at me like you're crazy. Because literally there were a lot of homes for sale, nothing was
Right.
selling, nothing was appraising.
It was
it
crazy.
was chaos.
It was a ghost town almost.
It was a ghost town. So I decided to, because I always been passionate about learning. So I decided to back to school. I took every certification you can think of. I just, I was obsessed with study.
So that was your way to make yourself different or
Yeah.
separate yourself out from the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
You went back and got the certifications, which makes you a specialist in whether it's international or a certain type of home or rentals, or there's a million different certifications you can get. You were separating yourself out. So that's sort of how you built up, in addition to your husband's sphere. That's
Yeah,
really
and
cool.
and also really daring because I remember, saying, well, I need to get out of my comfort zone, and I need to let people that I am an agent, not a secret agent, which I think I have been a secret agent for a while now, but it has worked
Best
for
kept
me.
secret.
Yeah, kept secret. Thank you. So what I did, I started, okay, let me reach out to organizations. Where can I go and talk about what a realtor can do for others? And so I started doing that. First time home buyer seminars. I created a presentation. The first time ever, I was so nervous. But it only takes one person to tell you, right, how
I
good
agree.
and how grateful they are for what you have to share. And that just made my. I remember that one time I went to this first time home buyer seminar, and this lady showed up and she's like, "Oh my God, your presentation was amazing." I'm like, "What?" So I'm like, "How can someone see that and you don't see it?" So it would start for
Well,
me
because
to.
we're our
very
own
hard
harshest
on
critic,
ourselves,
right?
yes.
So where did Zen come in? We got to talk about Zen
Yes,
because
we gotta talk
that's
about
the
Zen.
topic, and I think Zen is such a good, powerful word.
Yes.
I actually think when you say it to people, if they have any clue what it means, there's this almost immediate, maybe if it's only for a second, relaxation that happens when we say the word Zen,
Mm.
and then you get into the Zen mode, and then of course every life hits you like with a ton of bricks. Where did the Zen concept come
So
from?
the Zen concept came way after. So I've been doing real estate for 13 years now, and at the time I had a different name for my company. And last year, I decided that it was time for me not to be a secret agent. That I have been, and by that I mean that I don't really advertise. It was
No.
all word of mouth, which is the best way to do a
I
business.
agree.
But then you get to a point where like, well, it's like a crossroads. You need to either grow or stay where you are. And I'm like, no, I'm ready to take the challenge. But also that's, you're scared of your own life.
Right.
Because I know you see this potential, I see this potential, and I'm like, well, I'm ready, but then I'm not. So I would give, that's why I say I was a secret agent. And last year I was like, no, I don't want to be a secret agent because then I have a mission to help others. And if I can help more people and reach out to more people, they're going to benefit from my service. So it wasn't from an ego place. It was more like, okay, I need to let the world know who I am and what I'm worth, right?
Right.
Which that's your presentation, and ultimately in real estate you sell yourself because there are many agencies, and thank God for that. I don't see anybody as a competition. I think we are collaborating with each other.
So important.
I love this industry because anybody, it's easy to get in, it's easy to fail, too. But with the right support. So to answer your question, last year I went through a rebranding of my company. Actually, this year I'm celebrating 10 years of my company. So I decided to change the name to something that I was like very passionate about. And that's when literally I do a lot of meditational walks. And basically that's just walking with setting an intention for 20 minutes and then just go and listen to the birds, just listen to yourself, like silence.
Sure.
And so
self-care.
Self-care, correct. So as I'm walking that day, that particular day, like about a year ago, the name Zen Living just popped in my head, and I knew because I have been looking for the perfect name for 10 years, and it never. But I said, let me allow some space. If I can just meditate, it'll come, and it did. It did came. So Zen is a Chinese word for meditation, and meditation is it's also known as mindfulness, and if you want to know, mindfulness equals just be in the moment, just be in the present moment, because truly what we have is only this moment. Our future is not here, and a lot of things we worry about may not even happen. So we're just really, the future it's an illusion,
So
right?
how do you make that? I agree 100%. How do you make that part of your business? Because I think people will say, all right, Zen seems to be a personal journey.
Correct.
You're including it now in your business or your professional journey. So how do you do, obviously you have it here. Are you trying to impact your clients and the community with that approach? And that's why it's representative. I'm speaking for you, but in my mind, it's what I'm going through. Zen Living is what you want to portray and what you want to be able to give back to the community.
Correct. Zen Living is my mission.
Gotcha.
And I'm in the pursuit of that Zen. I'm not, and it's just funny because when people think of Zen, the last person they think is a Puerto Rican, right? With our attitude, with the sassiness that we bring, and all the energy. And I'm a very high energy person, so it's almost the opposite of being Zen. But anybody can achieve that state because it's like a muscle that you work every day.
Agreed.
So for me, the Zen Living is it's my mission to be able to spread the message that you and I or anybody, we're the same. We're all one. We are connected. And I know I'm getting a little deeper in this, but I just feel that sometimes we're too caught up in titles, like who's who or what do you do for a living? And I don't want that. I want to connect with people in a deeper level and just let them know, I don't care what you do. I like who you are. I want to connect with you because who you are. So Zen Living is a mission so that when you have to, sell your home or buy your home, and even come to me for anything else, doesn't have to be real estate, but just that's just the brand I want to, or the message I want to portray is that, we are all one, that you have the same capacity of becoming Zen, just like I am
it's
every
true.
day.
It's a choice, right?
It's a choice, and it's not Asian. Many people also associate that because it's from China, Chinese. The Zen Buddhism is not a religion; it's a mindset. So everything we do is a mindset. So I want people to know, and when they see the word Zen Living, realty or not, they just feel that understood, like connected. So
I love that.
And that's why the Zen.
So you're branching out. You talked about your branding, and we're big on brand. We love to talk about branding because that's another buzzword like Zen is. But you have, ever since you started and you decided to rebrand as Zen Living, you've gotten out of your comfort zone. Video,
this is
show,
very uncomfortable right now.
It's very uncomfortable for her. And then you came to me with this great idea, which I kind of want to, on the tail end of the show, talk about. I take zero credit in this. This is all 100% Nydia's idea, but I love the concept of it. So and we'll talk about it in a minute, but you're getting out of your regular zone and going, okay, I want to try this, I want to do that, because you're actually living your brand. You're living the Zen Living part. And so you're reaching out to parts of your life that you either were afraid of or make you uncomfortable, and you're doing them, which big kudos for that. So let's talk about, we have a new kind of networking, we think, coming up on February 17th. at Grape in the Grain, and we're doing it together with the lovely Gert Garman, who's going to be helping us. But reverse networking. And so tell them what the word, this is your practice time, you ready?
Yes.
Tell them what the word reverse means. Because when people say that, they're like, what does that even mean? What am I coming to? It's going to be the same kind of networking where you're throwing your business cards at people. But that's not what we're trying to accomplish.
So thank you for giving me space for clarifying this. So the reverse networking came from this idea or discomfort of networking. The way we network and the way we put this pressure on us to meet other people in business, right? It's a little bit cold, in my opinion,
Very
or
cold.
my experience is like, well, if I don't have a title, I mean, what do I bring to the table? I mean, and I had to do like that. That's an inner feeling, right? Nobody can. Maybe I'm a good. I have the. Maybe I can show something that rather than what I'm feeling, and people don't know. But I've been told, oh, you're an extrovert. That must be easy for you. And I'm like, yes, I'm an extrovert because I get energized when I'm surrounded by people. But that doesn't mean it doesn't give me, you know, this nervousness when I have to go to those events. So I say, why don't I come out with an idea? Because connecting is easy for me, yes, but not for everyone. And
It's not.
It's not. So I want to create a space where people can share who they are and not what they do.
Right. So what we want you to think about, that's the best way. That is the most succinct way to say it. And I love this. You're not coming into a big kumbaya meeting where we're all holding hands and everybody's beating a drum. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And maybe we'll do that at another one. But
Maybe.
the point is that we
Alcohol.
want to do it definitely with a little bit of adult
Buzz.
drink. But what we want to do is create this environment, this place where you can feel safe to network a little bit differently. Because you're right, it's cold. You go out, I go to these networking events, and I usually sit in one spot, and I get bombarded with business cards. Here's my business card. Here's what I do. There's really no getting to know me. And I don't fault anybody for that. It's they've never been taught to do it differently. That's what they've learned. You've got to have your 2-minute elevator speech done. I hate the word elevator speech.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I love you, Helen Bella, but that's not my favorite thing on the planet.
No.
I don't like that because what that does is it creates this prepared thing that you have to get out of your mouth or you're not going to be able to connect with them and you're not hearing anything anybody's saying. You're not making a real connection.
Correct.
So what we want to try to do, this is our goal, our passion, what we'd like to accomplish on February 17th is kind of create that safe zone where we can really get to know each other in a very relaxed, beautiful atmosphere and not have it your typical traditional networking where you leave there, you've got the 50 business cards, and you never do anything with the business cards, but toss them 3 months later.
Correct.
We want to have deeper connections, even if it's a single connection. One connection will be worth the time that you spend coming to the event, and that's our goal. That one connection is very powerful. A lot of times people leave networking event after networking event, and they've made 0 connections except with their bartender.
And not only that, we're going to be very intentional about our event. It's not like you're going to go and hang out because we know that the other thing that happens, like a certain amount of people tend to dominate the arena, and then we just want to make sure everyone has the same opportunity to connect with everyone, but it'll be in an anti-hustle way, if that's a word. But it'll be, and I'm the queen of anti-hustle. I mean, I know everybody these days is about hustling, and I'm like, I want to do the opposite. I want to take the highway. And the highway is, with our mind, just set the mindset to what we want. And I believe in abundance. I believe it's available for everyone. So another thing about, business cards and stuff, what if we have someone, and I told you at the beginning, what if we have someone that's unemployed and really wants to network so that they can get a job, and they have everybody has a lot to offer. So let's just take the title away. What do you do? Instead, let's see what they're looking for. So if the person is coming into the group and they're looking for employment, right, for a job or CPA or something, can someone in the audience help? Can someone in the audience is a CPA or know someone in their inner circle? So that's what we're trying to create. We're going to be intentional about matching people's needs. but also we don't want to segregate or seclude anybody because everyone is welcome because everybody has something to offer.
Agreed.
That's
And I love that because you're right. A lot of times people come in and they think, I'm an insurance agent, so I'm going to go find real estate agents.
Right.
And then they miss the opportunity to connect with a whole bunch of other people who could refer them to
Yes.
other people, who could be the answer to their prayer on a particular project, who might know someone. So we think way too minuscule and very tunnel vision on our connections, and we're too busy worrying about the type of industry we're trying to connect with rather than connecting with the person.
correct.
So we're going to do that at Scraping the Grain, right? You said the grind,
Not
but
the
it's
grind, the
Scrape and the
Grain.
Grain on Virginia
5:30.
Avenue, 5:30 to 7:30.
Or until the people want.
It's a beautiful little
there's really
location.
not.
But we've got the invite, which I tagged earlier. We'll tag it again. I love the way that you're taking your branding, and I love what you're doing. And I think you reaching out and doing this is really living your brand. You're living the words that you're trying to live by, if that makes sense. You're actually doing it. So I love that. Big kudos to you.
Thank you.
All right, I didn't tell you this question,
Okay.
so don't get nervous, but I ask everyone if you've seen the show.
Okay.
Can you give a shout out publicly to anybody who helped you along the way, made an impact, maybe a mentor or someone that really changed the way you look at things? Could be personal, could be professional, could be family, but just give one quick thank you. We love to give thank yous out loud, to speak it out loud, which is part of Zen, part of being intentional.
It's going to be hard to pick one.
I know, everybody
only
says
one
that.
person?
Yes,
Business
pick one.
or personal?
You pick whichever what comes to mind first.
That comes to mind. So,
I know what she's thinking. She thinks she's going to make everyone else mad. She doesn't
well,
say.
no, I mean, I just, a lot of people, I have an army of people helping me and backing me up and cheerleading more than I do to myself.
Right.
So I don't know, I want to say maybe Miss Ana Fernandez from Olden Financial.
Yep.
She's been a great mentor for me. She always sees the greatness in me more than I do. And I just, she's a great professional, CFP. And I think she has been key to my success. She still is, and we're good friends on a personal and professional.
Isn't that good to say it out loud?
Yes.
All right, so I love this. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I'm super excited for Reverse Networking on February 17th. Reach out to the beautiful Nydia Marrero if you need anything.
Yeah.
We'll share all of our contact information later. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for
we love
having
you guys. Have a beautiful weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Mwah.
Mwah.